Every time we forge inroads against the occupation, Advent tightens her grip on humanity. Pockets of resistance rise to join our cause, only to look over their shoulder for fear of the alien oppressor. Our government no longer hides behind the pretense of peaceful intentions, the guise of equity for all. They have reverted to their true nature. Submission or death. Authority through brute force, scattering once proud peoples to the far corners of the earth. For every Advent black site we destroy, this new world order deploys fresh battalions, bent on domination. We have lived under this yoke for over 2 decades. Our loss is mounting. The collateral damage accumulates. This stops now. Today marks the beginning of the end. Welcome back to the revolution. Salutations, soldiers. Automatic here for Automatic Games. Thanks for joining me for this, the final season of our XCOM 2 series. The previous 3 seasons have all consisted of 16 episodes each, but I can make no guarantees that this season will follow that standard. One thing is for sure though, we're on the final stretch. The end of the tour lies ahead, but whether it will end with us hoisting the flag or going down in flames is yet to be determined. XCOM developed 5 squads to ensure the former, 2 of which are no longer in operational condition.
Advent is not taking the death of an elder lightly, and in turn have greatly accelerated the final stages of their Avatar project. A plan is now in place for the rapid processing of all non-essential human life to begin immediately.
Of the remaining 3 squads, Echo Squad is the newest and has yet to be tested in the field. Our first squad, Alpha Squad, is just coming off of the heels of a wildly successful mission in which they exterminated an elder, which is bound to shake up the Advent government. Our second squad, Bravo Squad, is on standby for today's operation. They'll be setting down in the wilderness of Southeast Australia to investigate coordinates which we discovered by examining a Codex brain. The purpose of this location is rather lost on us, but we can presume that it is of vital importance to Advent's operations, in that every codex that is deployed in the field comes from a point of origin that leads back to this location. Another safe assumption is that this place will be heavily guarded, but that does not give Bravo Squad pause. They've seen the best of what Advent has to throw at us. And so now we'll be setting course. Currently the Avenger is set down not far away from our area of operations. So the Sky Ranger will take off, and let's go ahead and have a look at Bravo Squad. Bravo Squad is, as always, commanded by William Lee, codenamed Weasel. He's taking the Icarus suit, a flashbang, and tracer rounds. He is joined in the field by Joan Richards, codenamed JBone, taking the race suit and med kits. Also by Mark Jackson, codenamed Stonewall, taking a wraith suit and venom rounds. Oliver DeNoble, codenamed Odd Noble, taking a skulljack and an EMP bomb. For the first time, Staci Fallon, codenamed Player, taking an EMP bomb and the Mimic Beacon. And finally, Jared Williamson, codenamed Manzer, wearing the war suit with a built-in rocket launcher, blue screen rounds, and a frost bomb. There you have it. Bravo, you may board when ready.
Sky Ranger deployed.
We're in the pipe. 5x5.
Copy, Firebrand. Begin your approach.
Shen and Tygan barely managed to pull these coordinates from that codex thing they had down in the shadow chamber. We're guessing this may be its origin point, but can't know for sure. Based on the fight it put up, I'd expect heavy resistance either way. Good luck down there.
Though no one was injured in the process, the shadow chamber was damaged while we were extracting this intel from that codex. So it is our hope, to say the least, that this lead pays off. Staci Fallon is of course formerly of Delta Squad. This is her first op with Bravo, and as you may know, she's Manzer's significant other. I would say better half, but I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. Anyhow, Bravo Squad is boots on the ground. So this fourth and final season is entitled Endgame. Took me a while to come up with that gem, as you might imagine. Anyways, Manzer is going to lead the way. He'll move up to this copse of trees. Actually, that's a single tree, isn't it? Anyhow, he's got eyes on something that has yet to manifest itself. There we go. An Andromedon and a pair of Vipers. So, Manzer's gone into Overwatch. Player will move over to this grouping of rocks. She too will be going into Overwatch.
Roger, I've got my eyes on.
As to Stonewall, he's going to utilize his grapple and take to this nearby roof, from where he too will be entering Overwatch. And JBone will be doing similarly, if not just to close the gap.
Throwing the hook.
In truth, she's not going to stick to the roof. She's going to drop down into that structure, find good cover, and of course, Overwatch.
I'm on the move. Affirmative. Covering now.
DeNoble will maneuver over to this corner,
Heading out.
offering him a decent line of sight. Overwatch, and finally, Weasel. Now, he's going to utilize that Icarus jump, which will put him awful close to those three, as is his nature to going close. That'll render him spotted,
We're visible here.
and the squad should spring into action momentarily. The Andromedon's on the move. JBone fires a shot, looks like a hit. Stonewall also fires and hits. JBone fires again. Another hit. JBone fires again. Okay, that's one of her skills at play. I don't think I've ever seen a single soldier fire 3 times in a row like that. We'll take it. And so, the Andromedon pilot is dead. That Viper's on the move. JBone fires a 4th time. Okay, player's gonna fire. No joy. And DeNoble. Also a miss.
Come on, focus.
Here goes Manzer, about to open up on that Viper. And the Viper, she is down. So despite the Andromedon pilot being dead, his suit will continue to operate, of course. And now we've got 3 more on the grid, an Advent officer and 2 troops. One appears to be a stun lancer, the other a shield bearer. Now shifting back to Weasel. He could fire at that Andromedon, but he's more inclined to go for this, go for this soldier, this shield bearer that has him flanked. And he inflicts good damage. The shield bearer is injured. That, of course, opens him up to an attack from this Andromedon. This could be bad. Boy, I tell you, Advent is really thinking about this move. The Viper maneuvers. and moves again, thus pretty much throwing away its turn. The officer advances. Two of them go into Overwatch, and here comes Andromedon. Weasel takes a reaction swing and a miss. The Andromedon curiously passes him up, does an about face, and points at him. Is that it? That was rather innocuous, but whatever. I mean, hell, we're not going to complain. JBone's going to reload, seeing as she did fire 4 times. She'll go ahead and, well, actually, let's shift over to Manzer. He's going to fall back just a bit. And yeah, he's going to fire at that Andromedon. For the suit at any rate. And it's good damage. After all, he is firing blue screen rounds, which do a hefty amount of damage to those mechanical enemies. JBone fires the finishing shot. The Andromedon suit is down. So turning to Weasel here, he's gonna attempt to disorient these two. That is to say, the Stun Lancer and the Shield Bearer. That being successful, we're gonna shift over to a player who will advance. Just got a shot on that Viper. Is it good? It is. The Viper is down.
Taken care of.
That leaves 3 on the grid, 1 officer, 1 shield bearer, and 1 stun lancer. DeNoble maneuvers over by those rocks. Going into Overwatch. And Jackson is going to go for that stun lancer. It's a long shot, but it's good. So yeah, I mentioned that I'm not sure. Well, there goes the stun lancer. I guess that's the venom rounds at play. Yeah, the guy was poisoned. Anyhow, I had mentioned that I'm not sure how many episodes this final season will consist of. It could be 6, could be 26. Kinda hope it isn't 26, but
I'm under fire.
keeping our options open because after all, this is the final season, so I want to wrap everything up in this one set. In theory, we could muscle through these remaining story missions and try to get this entire series wrapped up in a matter of episodes, but I've never been one for rushing this particular series. I'm taking my time on account of enjoying the story, not just the main story, but also the story that we've woven in to this series. But in actuality, I guess what we're going to do is attempt to shoot for 16 episodes. But we may exceed that, we may come up a few episodes short of that. Time will certainly tell. But my motivation in going for 16 and not just rushing, beyond enjoying the story, there are 2 more factors that contribute to that. And one is XCOM would prefer to have made contact with every major resistance cell worldwide before the end game. This because when the various resistance movements rise up against Advent, it is our hope that they would do so in unison, thus presenting to Advent an irresistible force and a global force to boot.
That's how it's done.
Also, if any Advent black sites crop up in this last season, we would like to enjoy the luxury of being able to react quickly, not having to investigate the region first, make contact with a resistance cell, and then moving on to a facility. Rather, we want to be exactly that, a fast reaction team. Okay, so the officer has taken severe injury. He is on fire, so he's not long for this world. Let's see if Weasel can cut down that already short potential lifespan. God, the officer, not even... I mean, these are pretty tame enemies. Interesting. Oh well, their reluctance to fight is getting them killed. Perhaps it's a side effect of a realization that Advent is a crumbling government.
Finally.
So the grid is temporarily clear,
To Overwatch.
and the squad will continue to advance to this structure up ahead with the 2 vehicles parked outside.
Absolutely.
And one cannot help but notice these little blue glowing orbs floating through the sky here.
Rolling.
They smack of psionic energy. Not that we have a psionic specialist with us, but even a layman can tell, after so many encounters with psionic Advent forces, that there isn't a mystical quality to these orbs. Can't say that we understand it, but I think we recognize it for what it is. And okay, yeah, we've got 1 turret on the grid. Ideally, we want to take that out as quick as possible, hopefully in this 1 round. Manzer has the best weapons suited to destroying a machine, but let's see if we can't do some preliminary damage to it. JBone will move up to this corner. As she's got to get closer, she doesn't have a line of sight. Of course, that exposes her a little bit to retaliatory fire from the turret. I shouldn't say retaliatory, I guess I should just say reaction fire. Retaliatory indicates that she's already fired, and she hasn't. Let's see if Manzer can get in range. I'm doubtful. Yeah, no, he does not have a shot. Okay, well, Stonewall's got the grapple, and though this will put him in a bit of a precarious position, he's also got lightning hands, so he'll be able to get off 2 shots. Of course, that super heavy turret does have armor, but nonetheless, here we go. Okay, yeah, did a little bit of damage, just 2.
The armor.
But he still has a traditional shot. Let's go for that. And he has inflicted a fair amount of damage. I would think 1 more attack, but I don't think DeNoble can provide. Not in range to do that. So he'll move up to that building. As to Weasel, yeah, he can use Icarus jump. Get over there on that rooftop, and that should present him with a clear line of sight. And we've got a hit. Got our fingers crossed that he will score a hit here. Because if he doesn't, it leaves both himself and Jackson in an exposed position. And he does hit. It's good. The turret's down. The grid is clear. So briefly, let's touch on squad dynamics. First off, I want to talk about the changes that are probably obvious with Manzer. Obvious to his compatriots anyway. In a sense, he's got this new lease on life, this second wind, and that is entirely due to the return of Staci Fallon. His file talks about almost a man that seems down on himself. Well, that is no longer truly the case. He's cut down on his drinking, seems a lot more gung-ho about taking it to Advent. And as for Staci, she just wants to stay by her man. At this point, she didn't have the opportunity to serve in the field with him when she was with Delta Squad, so in a way, she's relishing this opportunity. She's certainly grateful to be back among XCOM.
Overwatch.
Oh, chrysalids. Well, cover doesn't matter much against those. And it appears there's only one on the grid, although we certainly were focused on the middle of nowhere there. Leads me to believe that there is another chrysalid about.
I can handle that.
Somewhere in that location, perhaps burrowed under the sand, as this new generation of chrysalid tends to do. You know, the previous generation, they only burrowed into their prey. A very disturbing process. But yeah, I guess, on some stupid philosophical level, the very Earth is their prey now. That was profound, wasn't it? It wasn't? Was it deep?
Moving to
It was neither. Okay. Anyhow, there's more than one chrysalid ahead. Let's just leave it at that.
Sure thing.
But only one officially on the grid.
Come get some.
And going back to squad dynamics, who did we leave off with? We covered Manzer and Staci Fallon. Let's shift to DeNoble. You know, we haven't talked about him much throughout this series, and I guess, you know, he kind of keeps to himself. One of the most notable things about him recently is he has bantered about in regards to what he's going to do after the war. He's the first XCOM soldier to actually mention that whole idea of when this is over, what are you going to do? And he kind of tinkers around. He spends a lot of time down there in the proving ground. And what he wants to do is focus on the gremlin and find a domestic purpose for the gremlin. Jackson takes a shot at this chrysalid, scores a hit. The thing is, closing in on JBone, Manzer is going to attempt to defend her, fires right through her, not hurting her, and puts down the chrysalid.
They're underneath us!
There's that other chrysalid. The same one we presumed was there. It closes in, takes a swing at, and misses JBone. Good deal. She is actually going to fall back a bit. Let's see if player can score a hit. And she does. Good deal.
Hard target, minimal damage! My ammo's running low.
And DeNoble's going to move up. He'll fire a shot. It fails to connect, but yeah, he wants to find a like a household purpose for gremlins. That's what he wants to get into. He wants to build a company around it. There we go. Weasel putting down the chrysalid. So that's been kind of an interesting topic of conversation. Most of the other soldiers don't have much to contribute at this point. Some of them don't even want to talk about the end of the war. Sadly, some of them are just too engrossed in this fighting to even consider life after Advent.
No problem, boss.
But there are a few takers. There's a few people that have talked to him about it, namely Proxy from Alpha Squad. He talks about wanting to go back to West Virginia, build himself a cabin, rear up some kids with a wife, and pretty much keep to himself until the end of his days. Okay, we've got 3 more chrysalids on the grid. Weasel takes a shot, nails one of them. As to Stonewall, he's got range. Usually does. Nice.
Who's keeping score?
Okay, we've got 2 more chrysalids on the grid, one of which is severely wounded.
Orders confirmed, on the move.
Okay, Staci's gonna move up. Does she have a shot? Not so much. She's gone into Overwatch instead. As to JBone, she's moving over by DeNoble.
Moving to Overwatch.
Going into Overwatch. And Oliver DeNoble is going to move up to this. Cactus. Does he have a shot? Yeah, he sure does. He's gonna go for it. And it's good. Only one chrysalid remaining on the grid, and beyond that, some type of gate, some type of portal. Anytime a soldier's looking down range, you can kind of see it. I suppose that accounts for all these blue psionic orbs floating about. Okay, Manzer's gonna go for a rocket shot. And of course that's a hit, and it shreds that thing's natural armor as well. Another soldier we could talk about a bit is JBone. You know, there was a fear among her squad mates and others aboard the Avenger that with the loss of her brother and of Otto, that she would do a lot like Bridget Michaels did, a lot like Gary Hillsdale just did, and just kind of withdraw from an active combat role. But she's doubled down. If anything, the loss of those two has only served to strengthen her resolve. She's wanting to take it to Advent more than ever.
I'm not sure what we were expecting to find out here, but this definitely looks promising.
It's not the same rift the Codex used when it appeared. This thing could lead anywhere. It may not even be pointing at Earth.
As with most things, we'll likely need to bring it back to the ship for further examination.
I mean, can we bring it back whole, or are we going to have to break that sucker down? Anyways, enter the Guardian, and Bravo Squad is just the squad for it. But, while distracted with the Guardian, Chrysalid closes in on Weasel. He takes a swing, he misses, and the Chrysalid hits. Injures Weasel a little bit and does some poisoning damage. That chrysalid poison is not to be ignored. Well, no poison is. Anyhow, Weasel fires, hits the chrysalid at point blank. Good damage there. Let's see if Stonewall can finish the thing off. Nice. It's good to have guardian angels, ain't it?
You see that?
Ain't it? My wife always corrects me. I say ant, like A-N-T.
Finally.
I digress. Stonewall's gonna drop down and move up behind these crates.
Gremlin, medical detail.
And JBone is gonna set about healing her squad leader. I'll tell you what, Bravo Squad certainly works well together. They definitely have each other's best interest in mind. And while that could probably be said for all of the squads, I think that Bravo Squad personifies that better than the others. Okay. Player is tossing an EMP bomb. Excellent damage from those things against those Guardians, while the Guardians are all closed up anyhow.
Sure thing.
DeNoble's going to advance. He too has an EMP bomb, and this very well might do it for the Guardian. It sure does. Nice. Again, as stated, Bravo Squad is certainly the squad for a Guardian, or any mechanized enemy like that. I mean, they've got two hackers, not to say a Guardian is a robot, but has some cybernetic elements to it, as evidenced by the EMP doing so much damage. Yeah, two hackers, and then you've got Manzer, who's definitely, he's the combatant you would want against a robot. Okay, another chrysalid closes in on Weasel. Weasel swings, hits. Chrysalid is on fire and is now running away from Weasel. It closes in on DeNoble there. And now, who haven't we talked about? We did discuss, well, you know, speaking of DeNoble and making plans for after the war, Stonewall, that is to say, Mark Jackson, he's been approached by DeNoble on that topic, and frankly, he's kind of gotten defensive about it, saying, you know, you can't even think about after the war. One thing at a time, and besides, this war could be long from over. He basically proposes that Advent might be here to stay. And you know, Stonewall's not so much a pessimist, but he's a bit of a realist. He just thinks, have we really made that much headway against this global government? Maybe they have, maybe they haven't.
Taken care of.
Guess we'll find out.
Out of ammo here.
On over.
And finally, there's Weasel. And certainly Weasel thinks it's fine to think about, to consider what you're going to be doing after the war, but he certainly knows that he's a little too old for what he's doing already. He doesn't know if he'll have any energy left once they're through with Advent. Frankly, his squad can see it. He's getting tired.
I'm on it.
But you know what? He's still got it. Definitely still got it. As Chrysalids closing in on him, he fires, hits his mark. And the Chrysalid doesn't quite close enough of the gap. So, yeah, a follow-up shot just might do it. Let's see if Manzer can deliver. And he sure as hell can. The grid is clear.
You want some more? On reserve. Status confirmed. All hostile contacts in the AO have been eliminated. The gateway is secure. Status confirmed. Commander, we've secured the psionic gateway, and recovery teams are en route to the site. Now it's up to Tigan and Shen to figure out what this thing does.
Not bad at all, Bravo. Not bad at all. So we have secured that gateway, which will certainly be installed in the Shadow Chamber, where it will be properly investigated. That's not quite what I expected to find there in the wilderness of Southeast Australia, but find it we did. It was a portal to God knows where, really. And going back to what we were talking about earlier in terms of making this a 16-episode series if possible, another reason I want to do that is because Echo Squad has just been introduced and they've yet to be deployed, and I want to explore their stories. I want to give them time, so we will. I only wish that we had crossed paths with some of those personalities from Echo Squad sooner in our story.
I told the troops to expect the best, and that's what you've shown them, Commander. Well done.
All credit goes to Bravo Squad Central, two of which have eked out promotions. Let's start with Staci Fallon. She gets to choose between Ever Vigilant and Guardian. And she's going to go with Guardian, I think. Yeah, and she's made Major. Well done. As to our second promotion, that belongs to DeNoble. So both hackers getting a promotion. He gets to choose between Covering Fire and Threat Assessment. He's going to go with Covering Fire. Yeah, nice work down there, Bravo Squad. And the only injury belongs to Weasel.
The distinctive alien artifact we recovered from the field resembles a portal or gateway of some kind. Although we believe it provides the aliens with a means of long-distance travel, potentially beyond the confines of our world itself, it will take time before we can truly understand the gateway's function.
Well,
Based on what your team witnessed in the field, Commander, it is clear this psionic gateway provides the aliens with some means of far-off travel. It will be up to you to determine not only how it functions, but exactly where this gateway leads.
I'm anxious to find out.
Objective added.
That's for certain.
In order to analyze the alien psionic gateway we recovered, we will need to make the appropriate modifications to the Shadow Chamber first, Commander.
Okay, so let's have a look at the Shadow Chamber and see what needs to be done. So we can go ahead and upgrade this facility. No, we can't. Okay, so apparently we're lacking the power to do so. Let's see. We have to deal with that. Switch over to our power relay here. And we can upgrade this facility. Let's go for the upgrade we can afford.
Power relay upgraded.
So there we have it. Let's see if that'll do. Taking another look at the shadow chamber. Looks like we can't quite afford it. Huh. Well, that's strange. Did the power relay upgrade yield us any additional power? Oh, I see. Oh, the upgrade allowed us to staff another engineer there, and we failed to do that. And upon posting the second engineer there, that will ultimately net us more power. So with that out of the way, let us have another look at the shadow chamber. And here we go.
Chamber upgraded.
Good deal. We sure put that thing up fast. Okay, now we analyze it. Yeah. Yeah, let's do it. Okay, well, let's turn our attention to the geoscape. Oh, something going on with Avatar Project Progress.
Your team has done an excellent job in the recovery of this alien artifact, Commander. I believe with further research, it may prove invaluable in uncovering the truth.
And we certainly like what's going on with that. Undermining their progress. I think we took it back 3 steps. Hell yeah. I'd like to see more of that. Of course, we've knocked it way down. Oh dear. And they're going to bring it up one more step, but
the aliens continue to make progress on the Avatar.
They make one step forward, we force them to take 3 steps back. Has nothing to do with a Paula Abdul song. It's just good stuff. Works in our favor. At that rate, there will be no Avatar Project. So yeah, Taigen and Shen will analyze this gate. In the meantime, Echo Squad is on deck to undertake our next mission. And I'm looking forward to that. You know, again, Van Dorn wants to lead them in the field the first time they go out. Mortal has problems with that, and he has come in to this whole project like a hurricane. Butting heads with Van Dorn. He's even gotten into little, I guess you could call them bragging matches with certain members of Alpha Squad, telling him that his squad, which is not yet seeing action under XCOM, is a superior squad. They just don't know it yet. After all, his people have been fighting Advent for years. It doesn't go a long way to, you know, get the other squads to warm up to him and his people, but maybe he's right. I guess we'll find out soon. Anyways, thanks for joining me. This is Automatic for Automatic Games. If you like this, and if you are subscribed, I will talk to you soon, friends.